We're going to go over the firefighter search and how to actually do that. So first of all, if you're getting a signal, you want to obviously go right to where that is. There's a couple ways you can do that, and that is by going to their last known location or where they tell you they are, or if, for example, they were an attack team that got off the hose line, we could follow that hose line and start our search right there. We want to search as close to the problem as we can, so try to get as much information from the person that's down, or go to that last known location. The other way we can do it is by taking our tracker and doing an actual walk around of the building. Okay, so if we don't have a good location, we'll go to the firefighter search mode by pressing and holding the red button until we see the FF, and then walk around the building and try to identify the closest entrance to where those guys are. Now, if we could easily have a crew go in without a hose line, without a rope, if they're doing a vent enter search and they make a bad turn and they get disoriented, you know, that's where this kind of search is going to really help out, because you don't know where they were last. They're disoriented. They don't know where they are. They are not on a hose line. Do that walk around. It can at the very least narrow it down to a quarter of the building and help you just with cutting off the rest of it, so you don't have to search it, and you can use your conventional search techniques for getting in there and finding them a lot quicker. Okay, but for when we're actually using the trackers and we're trying to narrow it in, there's a couple ways you can search, and we're going to do what's called bracketing. Bracketing is just basically searching in 90-degree angles. So we're going to follow a straight line once we acquire a signal, and we're going to be watching this, looking at our distance reading. And as we're getting closer, it's obviously going to be getting lower, and as we pass the tracker, it's going to start getting higher. Okay, so we want to go to our smallest reading, and at that point we want to make a 90-degree turn and move to see if we get closer. I'll show you how we do that here in just a second, but we'll switch to the firefighter search mode right now. Press and hold. Okay, I've acquired a signal. It says I'm about 8 yards away from the firefighter that's down, so I'm going to start moving in a straight line, and we're going to try to find that guy. Okay, I'm going to start walking this way in a straight line. I see my numbers. It's gone down to 7.5, 6, 4.5, getting all the way down to 3.3, 4, 5. So it's actually starting to get larger. Okay, so I had my smallest number back here. I want to move back to my smallest number. That's what we're going to call our lowest distance reading. We get to our LDR, our lowest distance reading, and I want to make a 90-degree turn. Now I've got an engine over here, so I'm going to make a 90-degree turn this way. It's because that's the only way I got to go right now. And my number is getting smaller. It's getting down to less than a yard. Okay, I put it in this area, so I know it's right here. But you want to remember, this tracker that we just walked right up to by bracketing is connected to at least a 200-pound firefighter who's going to be laying here. Okay, so if you can get really close to a guy, if you can get really close to a signal, if you get within half a yard, which I've got right here, I've got half a yard, and I don't see a guy laying here, I should be thinking that he's right on the other side of this wall. Same thing if you're doing your building walk around. Let me shut this off. If you're doing your walk around for your to try to figure out what your best entrance point is, and you're outside of the building, you can get within half a yard of a signal, or a yard even. I mean, that's telling you it's in that room, but it could be just right on the other side of the wall. So as I come up here and I looked and I didn't see anybody, I should be thinking he's just right on the other side of this wall. So, okay, another thing we want to talk about is vertical bracketing. Okay, so if you're in a high-rise building or you're in a multi-story building, you could potentially search right up to somebody and they're not there. You could get really close, within a couple yards, that you've came across the building and you've followed that signal straight up to where you think they should be, but yet you're only within a couple yards of them, and you try 90 degrees in each direction, you're still not finding them. Well, in a multi-story building, that should be telling you that they are above or below you, because you can't get any closer, but yet you're still really close. So what we're going to want to try then is what's called vertical bracketing. Okay, so I'm gonna put this tracker down here in the transmit. Okay, then I'm going to use my my tracker here. I'll cover that up. But I'm going to raise my hand, see if it's above. The number has gotten actually larger, okay? So it's not above. I'm going to check down below. And it gets a lot closer, obviously, as you get to it. So if you're in a building, you've checked 90 all around you in 90-degree increments, and you can't get closer to the signal, try that vertical bracketing, and particularly if you're in a multi-story, well, obviously if you're in a multi-story building, but you could also, it could be a basement, it could be an attic. You know, guys get turned around and could be somebody coming through the roof even and end up in the attic. So that's a good option. If you've got a signal and you can't get close to it, make sure you check that vertical bracketing, you know, and that can tell you if they're above or below you.